What's going on? So I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go live. It's all going on in the world right now. I'm also live on Twitch. Shout out to Twitch. You know what I mean? So I couldn't sleep. Couldn't sleep. Uh, so I decided to go live to have a conversation about life. Oh God. Um, a lot is going on in the world right now. A lot is going on. Israel is at war with Palestine. Africa is fighting for their revolution. Nigerian president might be ousted. Else. Drake's new album is out. Um, I couldn't sleep, so I thought let's talk about life. Let's talk about what's been going on in life. You know what I mean? Everything is a bit crazy now, man. There's the immigration war going on in England. There's there's a lot of other things just popping up everywhere. The thing about the Israel conversation is, a lot of people have told me that any country that America is supporting is wrong, and I was like, does that mean Israel is wrong? Because I think personally, particularly like the death of a certain festival-going woman that was paraded on the internet. I just didn't like that. I mean, if you want war, go against the people that are making the laws and stuff. I mean, why go after regular people, regular citizens of the planet? I just thought that was a bit much. But I heard they've been subjected to bullying. That's the what I've heard. I don't know much about it, but I said they said it's been a long time coming. So now there's war in Israel. Crazy. We're just getting past the Ukrainian war at the moment. We still don't know what the truth about what's really going on with that one over there, because mainstream media says Ukraine is winning. A lot of people on the ground says Russia is winning. Um, there's that going on. I mean, on the flip side of all of that, you got Israel and Palestine. What is God trying to tell us, man? I don't know. I don't know. What is God trying to tell us? I'm also, the people on Twitch, I'm also live on YouTube. A lot is going on. So basically, I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd go live and have conversation about it. What else is going on in the world? You got Africa fighting for a revolution, a change in contracts that was signed in colonial times, whereby the West control all its resources, and Africa gets like 10%. You know, Um, so the, the Sahel have decided to revolt. That's Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali. Niger has decided to take control of its uranium, and now France has declared war on them. France tried to use Algeria as their airspace. Algeria says no, you're not going to use our airspace to destroy another African country. Shout out to them. So they decided to pressure ECOWAS, a group of West African states and countries, and the people of the countries within ECOWAS has revolted and said they do not want to go to war. They don't. So now, Nigerian president is the head of ECOWAS currently. He came into power with what many will call a fraudulent election, a rigged election, because the people mostly voted for one gentleman who was outside of the system called Peter Obi. The call for Peter Obi to become president was loud even during the elections. The man that won was the least favorite out of the few that were candidates for it, and he ended up winning because he got connections like that. So now he's on the fire now because not only has he not been able to execute the said war against the Sahel on behalf of France and a few other allies that benefit from African resources. So now all of his details of his activity in America when he was a student over there apparently has not come to light. He was a drug dealer, he was a heroin distributor. Uh, he had a fraudulent degree. That's what they finally saying because they subpoenaed details to come out. I believe a Chicago judge has released the has allowed for the release of those documents to come out. So that's come out now. Um, so yeah, a lot is going on. A lot is going on. Um, the kings and the princes of Sahel are setting the motion. There have been two assassination attempts on Captain Ibrahim Traore, the youngest president on the planet. He's only 34 years old. Um, he's managed to escape those attempts. And he's on the path to take back its gold from a British company called Anglo Gold, something of that nature. So all of the West is all shook up because they all have interest in all of these African states. Ghana has issues as well. Its president has been caught on camera snitching on the African states. Don't worry, guys, I'm wearing shorts. Snitching on the African states. Incredible snitching on the Sahel, especially Niger, Burkina Faso, probably Niger, Burkina Faso. And the economy also crashed because it's saying because of the war going on in Ukraine, it's affected the Ghanaian economy. And people are asking why. Ghana has a great deposit of gold, but they do not control the gold, which is stupid in itself. They do not control the cocoa, big market for the chocolate. You know, for you guys that eat, drink chocolate, most of you are chocolate. Cocoa coming from Africa, I think Ivory Coast and Ghana. So now he's been called a puppet by its citizens. So all of Africa, the 1.4 billion residents, are asking for a change. They said, we want change. We want change by any means necessary. We do not want any continuation of the West controlling our resources and starving us to death. So there is that going on. What do I think of all of this debacle? What does Joseph think? I think that it's a long time coming for Africa. It's a long time coming. 400 years of being held captive. Um, its people are suffering. Its people are going to different countries for a better life. The countries that actually we now know are ripping them off. All sorts of bad governance is going on. So it's only natural that at some point after 400 years, its people will say enough is enough. How do you keep going when you finally find what the who the ops, the hidden hands in your problems are? How do you keep going? They've decided enough is enough. They don't want to be ripped off anymore. They want to be a part of the prosperity that God has deposited on the continent for them. They want to have a part of it. They want to see the benefits of it. They want to reap the benefits of it. They want the wealth to come to most Africans. They've decided that enough is enough. We don't want to have a situation where other countries are benefiting from all of the riches and resources on their land. To that, I say, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. If they're looking at other countries and seeing how organized how all of these products and stuff are coming, and they say, hold on, Our resources created those chips that they use on the phones. Our resources is what powers most countries in Europe and America benefit from it. Why then are we not in a good situation? So they're waking up to their true divinity. Mama Africa has decided to finally wake up. The ancestors in different realms have decided the time is now. Why is that a bad thing? I know you might ask. Why is that a bad thing? It's not. That's because it's not a bad thing. That's because it's not a bad thing. It's the right thing. It's the divine thing. It's the thing that has to happen for the freedom of its people. How this revolution is going to turn out, I don't know, because the wars that's going on around the world is already shaking up. You see what just began to happen with Hamas and Israel and Palestine, and everyone is swearing revenge, and they're about to get busy over there. Ukraine and Russia war is going on at the same time. Do we need another war in Africa? To Africans, they're like, we don't have anything. Might as well fight. Do you know what I mean? You know, might as well fight. Like, how long are the people gonna starve us? Starve the people of Africa, and get in a situation where you know things are just not working out. Like, they're just starving the people of Africa. They're starving the citizens. They're threatening the leaders. They kill off the leaders that don't do their bidding. Um, they leave the leaders that will become puppets that does their bidding. They leave them alive and well so they can continue to run it as they want. Decisions are made for Africa from outside of Africa. So it makes you ask a question like, what's so wrong about these amazing kings of Sahel revolting and saying, no, enough is enough? They want France out. They want the British companies that are owning their gold to go out. It's like it's time. The time is done. Like when I saw the deal, I heard about the deal. The British company Agro Gold has with Burkina Faso. They take 90% and give the country 10%. No taxes paid, no reserves of the gold in the country, but they just take the gold. Like, and it's they call them the multinationals. Some of those country companies have been there for a very long time, since colonial times. They just change names. You know. So a lot has been going on. A lot has been going on in the world right now. We don't want a World War III, but it looks like it's we're creeping into one. I don't know. I don't know. China still has its own economic war they have with America going on. The BRICS is trying to make itself the new world power. They're trying to debunk and remove the NATO and UN and all the rest of those fancy countries that have run the world for 100 years. They're trying to topple them. What's up, Jordan? Yeah, man. Shout out to Jordan. Um, I'm also live on Twitch. I was saying Jordan was on YouTube. So a lot is going on in the world right now, and I don't know where we're heading, man. But it looks like we're heading to World War III. I don't want it. I don't. Nobody wants war. But what else is going to happen? I mean, you know, no one is seeming to agree. There's no central power that everyone agrees with. All the other superpowers are not agreeing with the other superpowers at the present moment. Russia and China is against everybody else. Which is more important for people of color moving forward, science versus spirituality? Which are more important for people of color moving forward, science versus a bit of both, Jordan? A bit of both. So I got, for the people on Twitch, I got um, a question here by Jordan Haynes. Which is more important for people of color moving forward, science versus spirituality? It's a very valid question. I say both. I think African people already, people of color already are very spiritual. I say spirituality is key to people of color. They already have that. I think it's innate. Sometimes when I look at the churches, I see semblances, resemblance of the way they preach the gospel, kind of similar to how the ancient spirituality in Africa goes in the celebration or in the praise to the ancestors and to the Most High. So they're doing their dances in the church, but it's also a dance of the ancestors that have gone before them that they don't even know about because obviously their culture was ripped from them. I'm talking the African Americans now. Science, I can only think about the utilization of science. Science is more important, say, for the revolution that's happening now in terms of like use what its resources can create. I'm just talking about practical terms of science. And they use science wins wars. Ah man, if that was really true, if that was really true, science does win wars. Yes, it does. I think science is Africa needs science because Africa needs to be able to um, bring together all of its um, human resources, all of its talent that it has spread across the diaspora, across the world, and bring them back to Africa and bring all the resources together and create something. Because Africa has its resources to create its own nuclear power. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So if the West was supposed to come and say, how dare you kind of bring resource, stand up for yourself or want to take your resources back, Africa can fight back like they never did before. Well, they did fight back before, but they had Europe came with new weapons. Before that, it was all swords and shield and all of that, and they came with a new invention. Africa needs to be able to get the scientists together and formulate a plan for nuclear power. I don't mean it to destroy half the world or destroy that. So I don't mean it that way, but for negotiation purposes, If you're going to negotiate taking back your land that has resources on them, you have to have some power behind you. We cannot rely on Russia and what's it called, China, because they have their own interests. What would they ask for the help? So now we're back to square one, where we're still under the thumb of other people because they helped us. But if Africa was to assemble all of its science scientists, which there are a lot of black scientists around the world, creating amazing things for companies that we don't even realize that it's them behind it. It's if they can get all of this scientists together and start to create a defense mechanism against West, then negotiations can move better. Because if you have a gun and I have a gun, we're all gonna die, but it's best not we all die. So the negotiations will be different. If a thief's coming into my compound and he knows that I'm strapped, do you know what I mean? Strapped to the hills, he will move cautiously. But if a thief knows that I got nothing in my house, in my compound, bro, he's strolling into that motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? Man just moving there like, yeah, yeah, like, fuck this guy. Yo, let me even have a cigarette before I go in. One of them one. Like, he would even have a cigarette on your porch before he robs you. Do you know what I mean? So, for people of color, science is key. Because spirituality, we already have that in abundance. We can't even help ourselves. We're a praying nation. Even some of us that are Muslims, some of them that are Muslims in Africa, praying people, really religious. Um, even before the what's it called, the colonials came, you know, Christianity has been in Africa even longer than it's been in Europe. Most people don't know that through Ethiopia, you know. Um, it's just that Europe remixed it and sold it back to Africa. And when you talk about Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, his right hand man was a black African named Bilal, you know. So all those religions has been there. And then you have to talk about ancient religions that still exist to this day. Um, some practices within those ancient religions might be dated, but most of it still remains in terms of belief on the central power, the central God. Um, like how you go into all religions and you realize they always have that one center, that one God, and underneath God will be priests and prophets, and do you know what I mean? But there's always that one God, right? Everyone's got. Africa's always been on spirituality heavy, you know. So science is what Africa is, and even for its economic power as well. The things that Africans can create from its resources, phones, laptops, electronics. Africa, there's IMF and some of these big, um, what's it called, big organizations that actually, you know, have put laws down while they're borrowing money to Africans saying, you are not allowed to build a refinery, you are not allowed to build anything that you can create from your resources. What you're going to do if you want this loan is with this legislation, you can only extract. So it was like a golden handcuffs, right? And when they were extracting, they're not in strong position of negotiations because the other guy that was standing up to them, they killed him off to put the guy that's signing the contract on. So he knows the play. Like if I say no shit, if I say something, they'll take me out like they took the other guy out, you know. So they left with 5%. The 5% they left with, they split it among themselves, and Africa just continues to go down from there. So the science is very important. You know, the building of those nuclear powers and the building of those phones, chips, all of that. Africa has resources to create all of that. The Congo, for example, powers the resources of Congo powers most of the electronics you see in the world. It's not the only place that has, palladium and coltan, but it has a great reserve. Do you know what I mean? I think I heard about like 45, 50% of it is coming from that one country in Africa. And France and a few other multinationals are making a killing selling it to electronic companies to create all of the things that powers all of that robots and everything. And the future, we moving into AI. It's like the possibilities for Africa to really tap into all of that wealth is crazy. We have all of the resources that powers AI. All of it. Call it, name it, we've got it. Multiple African countries out there. Everything that powers nuclear weapon, they got it. Everything that powers green energy, we've got it. Everything but the future. So science is powerful. Oh my God, science is what Africa needs. Science, yes. Jordan, you were on the money with that one. Science, man. Because not only can Africa create its own protection with science, it can create a whole new economy, profitable economy that the world needs. If Africa starts to build its own factories, metal factories, uranium factory, you know, electronics, chips, and, you know, it just powers the world and tell the world and say, yo, you're not getting any resources, but you can buy our chips though. That kind of stuff. You gotta. Well, I've not even touched into the fact that the amount of oil and crude oil that Africa possesses in multiple countries. You know what I mean? Multiple. Like it's they just finding crude oil everywhere. You know what I mean? It's just you know some of the deals they have on that crude oil is terrible because I saw a video of a Singaporean woman laughing and saying, "Yeah, we take crude oil from Africa, from Nigeria, and then we sell it back to them because they process it over there because they have a lot of refinery. But we have been Africa just recently built one in Nigeria by a private company, but I don't know what's going on with that. I think they put some handcuffs on that person for for, for you know um, processing those crude oil because he works under the laws and under the golden handcuffs that they put some African countries under, like Nigeria. They probably are not allowed to process as much as they decide to. as much as they could be doing. Hence why a lot of Africans are calling for a revolution. It's like that old contrast goes now. Like it can't go on anymore. The taking back of the uranium in Niger and and all of that stuff is affecting France. Has got France shaking in the boots. You know, France has would survive. But I mean, in terms of like they have a lot of reserves. The laws that France put on some of those countries, like they can't have any reserves. They have to have their reserve in France. It was just like master slave relationship of the greatest fashion you could ever have. You know, it's mad, man. So yeah, I think Jordan was right. Science, that's the power right there. Science is what Africa needs. Uh, it's crazy, but it is what it is. But how do you get hold of all your resources without war? It's almost impossible. But nothing is impossible with God. Uh, Whatever the ancestors decide is going to happen. Um, but you have to look at it and be like, yeah, we're going to need a lot of help because unless someone is secretly building some shit in Africa that we don't know, it's, I mean, you got, what was his name? Burkina Faso being supported by a lot of Russian help. Um, so they partner with them. That's helping them very well. I don't mind Russia's dealings with Africa because, and some of the other countries like in China, their dealings with Africa has been soft power. It's not been more a lot of pedantry, like say the UK, the British, and a few of the other people. But China has been, but at the same time, you never know how a man or how a country would have what their thoughts are going to be later on down the line. Um, you know, but Philip Emeagwali, yeah, a Nigerian is the AK father of the internet. Education is key. I know, bro. You're telling me. I'm not surprised at anything that you know Nigerians can create. I am not surprised by anything Nigerians can create. Nigerians or Africans are incredibly talented. Our human resources is not what being tapped into. The moment that Africa starts tapping into its human resources, oh God, it's over. And I think the world knows that. I think the people that basically, um, the people that basically destroyed Africa, like they know that. You know, they know that when Africa gets back on its feet, to be a reminder of who Africa was before they colonized it, before they erased all those history. Because when they came here, they saw very they saw thriving communities, successful communities. You know, that's why erasure was so powerful because when they erased all of Africa's ancient history, what they were able to do was tell the world the narrative they wanted to paint. So not only did we not, but were we not able to um, understand who we were told lies about who we were. And a lot of us believed it because we didn't control whoever controls, the life controls the truth, or however that saying goes. So they know that, they know what we're capable of because the the ancient infrastructures and structures and sciences and breakthroughs that our ancestors before us made, before they came, before the colonials came, were groundbreaking. So they must know is something in our blood that can create some exceptional things. You know? So you have to understand that Africa has a lot of talent, a lot of talent. Africa, the African people are gifted. We're a gifted bunch. But no one wants war. But it looks like that's what's going to have to happen. How that's going to be executed is still baffling me. Like I don't know how they're going to do it. I just don't know. I'm just trying to. If we screaming for revolution, we know there's going to be war. Do we have enough to fight this war? Like to the point now, Africans actually know that, but they're still saying fuck it, let's go because they're already in a sad situation. Do you know what I mean? Like if they don't fight this war, that means they remain where they are. That doesn't make any sense. You know, that doesn't help anybody. You know, so it's vitally important that the fight continues. You know, it's a vitally important that this moment, in this time, that we take an opportunity now to fight this, to fight for their resources, to fight for their land, to fight for their food to eat. You know, it's the first time in African history that everybody, um, it's I've never seen this happen before, where the whole collective of African citizens are asking for a coup. It's never happened before. Prior to this, people always looked at coups like a bad thing. Now they're begging for it because their livelihood is dependent on taking out and removing the puppets of the West from their presidential palace and position. Their future successes of all of these countries and its people is dependent on removing the puppet of the West because the West is not bulging. And I tell you why. There was the certain minister from Burkina Faso that went to the UN that spoke about the negotiations with France during the Burkina Faso kicking out France from its place and the coup d'etat that stopped all of the multinationals taking their resources, claiming back some of their resources. Their Even with Niger, their negotiations were not one of renegotiations. There was like, we want the 95% that we continue to take to continue. Some of those guys were even telling them, okay, we just want a negotiation. We can do 50-50 on the resources. And they're like, nah, we're not gonna agree to that. We're gonna continue to have, we want a continuation exactly what is going on. So they don't have any reason, any, it doesn't work for them for Africa to stand up or even try to take profit for themselves. They don't want none of that to happen. They don't even want a 50-50 agreement. It's like they want a continuation of the master slave mentality. And the military people over there, Ibrahim Traore and the rest of the other gentlemen, were like, fuck no. No more. Do you know what I mean? No more. It shows you the level of like, it shows you where they're operating from the perspective of what they're operating. They just want a continuation of what they've been doing before. They don't want Africa to eat. They don't want Africa to succeed. They want the continuation of Africa being a poor continent. They want a continuation of its people suffering because the president they put there as the puppet can't and won't do anything because of the laws that has been placed on him, on the do's and don'ts that he has to do. So the people have been living in a terrible situation. Now they have a chance for change, and France is like, no, we want the old guy to come back. So they don't care about nothing in regards to human rights. They want a continuation of the violation of human rights. And that goes for all the multinationals as well. So it's war, isn't it? It's war, man. You know what I mean? They don't see anything but war. It's war. It has to be. It has to be war. There's no other choice. They're not going to sit on there just starving. They're not going to just sit on there just watching the people suffer. They're not just going to like have a continuation. If they feel they can fight and they can rally up the troops and say, yo, take out the president, yo, like, and take control of the resources so we can eat, so we can have a better future. That's what the people are saying. That's what the people are saying. You know, we need something better. We want better than this. This is not good enough for us. You know. So what can you say? Anyway, let me go into this Israel and Palestine conversation because I really don't know what the heck is going on. But someone told me like this has been a long time coming. Like Palestine thinks they believe they've been bullied by Israel because I believe they said that's their land. They said that Israel took the land. That's what I'm hearing. Um, but when it came to the young lady, killing of that young lady at the festival, I thought, come on, we didn't need to. Hold a captive or something, but like don't celebrate killing that young woman. Man. She ain't got nothing to do with all of that. You know what I mean? That's what more my first thought in regards to that was. And then obviously America is in support of Israel, so a lot of people are looking at Israel a bit funny because if America supports you, then you must not be the you must be the op. That's how a lot of people around the world are looking at it. Because I was looking at the social media feeds and people were saying, "Is America supporting Israel?" Whoever America supports, everyone everyone is saying that, yeah, you know, they must be the people at fault. I don't know exactly how these things work. I don't know um, all the years that people in Palestine have had to deal with a lot of pain, but I've always known there's been a fight. There's been peace here and there, but this time around, it's just like they're really blowing up stuff. Israel is already swearing revenge um, and just getting bodies out of villages and like, yo, it's not looking good. This is another war now that we have to deal with, and we're not still done. We're not out of the woodworks yet with Ukraine and what's his name and Russia. You know, now another war has started, and now Africa too wants his own war for his freedom. We're creeping into World War Three. I think we're creeping into World War Three. You might not like it, but it's what's happening. You know, you know, it's what is happening. Um, what's happening? You know, that's the shout out to Twitch. I'm live over there too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hope they work it out, but it doesn't look very likely. It looks like they're ready to fight. They're ready to fight this one out, man. Like, yeah, we want the smoke. You know what I mean? That's what they're on now. But yeah, I couldn't sleep today, man. I don't know what was going on, so I thought I'd come live and have a conversation with the people and that. You know what I mean? I thought I'd come out and you know have a chin wag, have a conversation. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this stuff. And then obviously Drake's album has come out. Greasy Drake. He's getting a lot of backlash on this album. A lot of people are just going off in the hip hop community. Are going off on this album. They feel like it's not one of his best albums, it's not one of his best work. But the interesting thing is the way he's been fighting back. He's had the founder of the record label coming at everyone that's attacking Drake. That's Birdman. You got his dad even posting and cussing out everyone, talking shit about his son. You got him calling out hip hop um, reporters, you know, and then you got him dissing Rihanna on he's dissing Rihanna on his album, calling calling saying the sex with her was average, that she's not the prettiest girl that he's ever been with. Like, bro, yeah. Drake is on one with this one here, boy. I think it's getting it from all the ends, and he's spitting out a lot of venom out there. But I don't know what's happening, and I hope he's okay. I mean, it's just one album. You just has to come back stronger on the next one, I suppose. But people are critiquing him a lot for this album, and it doesn't help that he hasn't been done any hip hop interviews. Some say the interview with Lil Yachty is like a hip hop interview, but people don't agree with that. they're kind of still pissed off with him during that interview with Bobby, that girl, the girl that sort of has the awkward, that's trying to be like the British girl that does the awkward interviews. She's trying to be the American version of the British girl. Um, so it's a lot that's going on with Drake, man. I just hope he says he's gonna take a year off for mental health. I think that might do him a lot of good because he seems a bit more sensitive than ever before. You don't want to get to a place where you feel like people can't critique you. So he's gonna have to chill with that all of that talk about, because he has all of this people, gangsters, not gangsters, but record executives and friends just kind of going off on people that had something to say about, you know, Drake's album. You can't attack the reporters from doing their job and giving their critique on your creative work. That's what happens. And I understand the sensitivities with creating something. It's like you put your heart and soul into it, and people can critique it. It's all right when you are winning, but it's not quite all right when everything sort of seems like he didn't live up to par. But he's one of the great performers out there, and he's been successful for a very long time consistently. So I think this is a very hard situation and position that he is in. So naturally, he's gonna feel away because he's not had this sort of wave of criticism from all the power players in regards to critics. You know, powerful people that critiques creative work. So it feels attacked. It feels attacked, but you don't want to get in a position where you can't take criticism. Um, so maybe because he sees that no one critiques Jay Z, so he feels like maybe he doesn't deserve to have a good critique, because you can never get a real honest critique from the community, the hip hop community, when it comes to Jay Z. Everyone was like, "Oh, Jigga had the best. Jigga's verse on Pod Did was amazing." I was like, "Yeah, it was amazing, but Lil Wayne had the better verse." But no one talks about that because everyone wants to be invited to the Rock Nation branch. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to be invited to the black suits and black tie charity events that Rock Nation and Jay Z has, and everyone wants to. No one wants to piss off the king of business, hip hop business, which is Jay Z at the present moment with Rock Nation, and also doubles as one of the best rappers in the world. So it's more than a double entendre, double, you know, triple power play. You know what I mean? So his creative works can't be critiqued in the way that you know you can imagine it will be critiqued, honest critique. But because of how powerful he was, they can't do that. So maybe Drake is feeling like he's on Hove's level, Jay Z's level, so he feels like no one should critique him. But it takes power play to be in a position where everyone will feel uncomfortable critiquing you. But you've not created that power circle around yourself, so you can't have that monopoly that Jigga has. Jigga has his hands with collaboration with a lot of hip hop critiques, hip hop people. He's doing business with half of them through Rock Nation. So it's in their best interest to write a good review on everything Jay Z does. Uh, which is, I did a video about that, which is monopoly in a way, but it's also a very powerful play. So if a Jay Z album comes out, I'm looking at the Twitter and TikTok, the regular guys outside of the hip hop community for good critique, because I would never get it from the hip hop reporters because they're all trying to please Jay-Z, trying to get into that Rock Nation Broncho, you know, stupid shit like that. So Drake doesn't have that power play, I'm afraid. Doesn't have that set. He hasn't built an empire around himself to that level for people to feel like if they say something wrong, it can affect them. Because he's only just been focused on music and that's it. If people can directly touch how much you make or the potential of how much you make, your livelihood, your earnings, then you can't force them to do anything. You know, Jay Z can't do that because he goes hand in many, many, many parts that people's livelihoods are attached to. So it's in the best interest of those people that happen to be hip hop critiques or happen to be working in hip hop media. It's in their best interest to write something positive about Jay Z. So that's why Jay Z never gets any wrong criticism. Even when he says that stuff about we're past kneeling and stuff. And it's like a year later, the whole world was kneeling. You know what I mean? They were on their knees. With the Black Lives Matter. So no one really critiqued him or held him accountable for it. Everyone kind of grazed around there and tried to find excuses for him because he's that powerful. Drake doesn't have that kind of power play. He hasn't created that many jobs for people. He's created jobs for people that go on tour and his friends. And I'm talking about the reach of Rock Nation. Their reach is long. You're talking about not only music, you're talking advertising, you're talking about clothing companies, you're talking about liquor, you're talking about tech, you're talking about um, what else have they got? Publishing, you're talking about management, you're talking about movies. So the reach is long, so you can't think he's on Jay Z's level yet if he hasn't created a reach, like a bubble of power around him. You know what I mean? Um, so he's gonna get critique, and he should be grateful he gets critique because I don't know, because it means that he can come back stronger on the next one. You know? That's what I think it is. That's what I know it is. You can't think that you can't get critique. How dare people critique you? I'm like, yo, you need to create an empire that is attached to people's livelihood, and then maybe you can control it even without you saying nothing. You know what I mean? Rock Nation is helping other people start businesses, help other people with negotiations that makes them millions. People in the hip hop community. Rock Nation is helping other people become millionaires and billionaires. So a lot of powerful things are linked to them. Fashion. I forgot to tell you that they're behind Fenty. They're behind. I've also understood that they helped Charlemagne get his Black Effect podcast thing going with negotiation and design of his logo and all of that stuff. Lawyers and advice. You know, they helped 21 Savage with his papers. Like the reach is long. They also involved in prison reform. The reach is long, bro. Like you know, you can't think you can't get critique like Jay Z because Jay Z's reach is long and his is not. He's just been known to be a highly successful rapper. He hasn't created any successful, massive brands around it apart from OVO. And OVO, I would have thought it would have stretching it to other things, but it's a bit silent with other things. You need bulls around you, like how Dame Dash was a bull around him, just creating, searching, digging for hidden treasures and finding treasures in different places and starting different things. that made their power, you know, expand. Drake has not been able to do that in terms of hip hop business. So we cannot complain that people are treating him in the same way. This is my own sort of uh, how do I call it? What I look into it, because it's almost like he's almost like, yo, how they spoke about me, like, because probably looking at Jay Z, no one critiques Jay Z. No one critiques. Oh yes, if Jay Z said, oh yo, that was a great ever. This is how American hip hop people are, bro. Did you hear how you said did you say how Jay Z said yo, that's poetic, bro. No, that's poetic, bro. Nah, they just want to kiss the ring. That's it. The reach is long of Jigga, man. So you can't put yourself in Jigga. You've not created enough power circle around yourself, Mr. Drake. You need to create that power circle. Make a couple of people billionaires like yourself. Make it powerful. Make yourself a powerful reach, and then people won't be talking about you. Will be scared to critique you in an honest way, because no one does that to Jigga. And oh my god, that Jigga rap, yo, I think this might be Jigga's favorite rhyme. I'm like, that's not even his best rhyme. Stop. Do you know what I mean? That's what Monopoly does. When you have a monopoly, it is what it is, isn't it? You get me? Anyway, Drake will be fine. He'll be fine. Just has to come back in the next album. Next just make something great. Make something great next album, and boom, you got it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but shout out to people on Twitch. Massive things, massive things are gone. Get me. Yeah. Shout out to everyone that came through. Make sure you support the channel. Make sure you hit the cash app. LILJOESDIP. Pound sterling. LILJOESDIP. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. LILJOESDIP. I got Instagram, Joseph Sadiq or Joseph Shadikwet. I got Twitter as well, Joseph Shadikwet on Twitter, or X as it's called now. And I got, yeah, go show your boy support, man. Support the channel. Let's push forward in it. You know, I just thought I have a conversation today. I'm already about an hour in. You know, shout out to Jordan for showing up today. Very good comments. Much love to my man. Shout out to others on Twitch. Love and peace and love. Yeah, just thought I have a conversation today, though. Innit? Conversation about everything that's happening. What else is going to entertainment? Sexy Red. I love all of these new female rappers. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it'll be extreme for me. It just seems to be, seems like it's a lot. All of this releasing of sex tapes is always a bit much, man. Like, you know, but I don't know. Shout out to all of them. Anyway, I think I'm gonna head off now. Um, peace and love. Catch you on the next one, guys. Man, you have a lovely day. Yeah? Enjoy your day. All right. Peace and love. Peace to YouTube.